Good evening, and thank you so much, Saul, for that really magnificent introduction. And thank you, Touro, for giving me the privilege of being introduced by the former Chief Judge of the state of New York. I cherish that honor, and honored guests and friends all. I'm so pleased to be part of Touro's Academic Convocation to welcome and formally install your magnificent new dean, Patricia E. Salkin. Put another way, and I quote the words of my great predecessor, Chief Judge Saul Wachtler, in a recent email to me, we're all thrilled to be part of what he referred to, and this is the quote, as Patty's coronation. And Saul added, and again, this is a quote, have a sweet new year, one filled with no sorrow and only pleasure. As a longtime friend and great admirer of Patty and Touro and Saul Wachtler and Judge Graffio and so many people here today, I am all around delighted to echo Saul's message, noting, by the way, that Touro really has gotten off to a fabulous new year. No sorrow, and enormous pleasure. Were I forced to do a ranking of who or which among us is the most blessed at this convocation, I'd say that the real, true coronation is that of Touro College Jacob D. Fuchsberg Law Center, wouldn't you? Today, Touro adds a glittering new star to its crown. What a coup to have Patty Salkin as your new dean, adding to a great tradition of great deans, okay, even the non-women, yeah. If you didn't know Patty Salkin at all, if you merely leafed through her 29-page, single-spaced curriculum vitae, you would be left absolutely speechless by her achievements. Not simply in number, but also in quality, starting with skilled, beloved teacher, great administrator, trusted advisor to partners in government, revered community and bar leader, prominent lecturer, author in every single form that paper allows, textbooks, hornbooks, handbooks, studies, articles, newsletters, and I haven't even scratched the surface of Patty Salkin's accomplishments to date. But what most impresses me about her extraordinary curriculum vitae is how wisely she has honed in on two law subjects that today, at their convergence, are the absolute apex of public concern: government ethics and land use. Land use meaning, what are we going to do? What use are we going to make of this planet, affecting the life of every single one of its inhabitants? Just what is a smart, green, sustainable, ethical growth agenda for our constantly and radically changing the world? I don't know the answer, but I sure do know who I would put that question to. Patty Salkin has even thrown in a couple of pointers on golf course redevelopment, which you'll find on her resume. And that gives us a clue that there's an awful lot more to this brilliant, thoughtful, visionary, inexhaustible scholar than books and papers. Which takes me beyond the CV to my friend, the Patty I know and have known for more than 2 decades in Albany and other exotic spots where we have had the good fortune to find ourselves on programs together. Linda Howard Weissman, Assistant Dean for Institutional Achievement, I cherish your message to me one day, reporting that Patty had told you of my calls to her several years ago to offer congratulations on the birth of her children, their children I might say, Sydney and Jordan. So proud of you. But that's an insight not only into Patty's highly astute family life balance, she and her husband, and their personal values, but also a clue to her sensitivity, both on the receiving end and very, very much on the giving end. My compliments to my friend Alan Fagan, a lifetime partner of my late husband's and your search committee chair, and to all of you for finding this wonderful treasure. Truly, in every single respect, this is Touro's coronation, the start of an exciting new chapter in its distinguished 42-year history. And I take this moment to congratulate each of your predecessor deans, most especially Dean Emeritus Lawrence Rafel, now professor, who steps aside to take on a host of new challenges, and my dear, beloved, longtime friend, Dean Emeritus Howard Glickstein, his immediate predecessor. All of us, Patty, are particularly grateful, and we are delighted by your willingness to take on this new role at a time in our economy, in our profession, and in the world of legal education that is so especially challenging, more challenging than I have known in the half-century since my own law school graduation. And there's no secret about this. Touro need have no fear of being charged by your new dean with material non-disclosures. It's all very, very public. And you, Patty, have boldly stepped up to this challenge with eyes wide open and incredible enthusiasm for smart and sustainable 21st change to legal education and the legal profession. As Dean Salkin herself acknowledged in her welcome to the class of 2015, this is indeed a time of transition for the legal profession, a time when law schools and the profession are under intense fire and criticism and scrutiny. And recognizing all of this, Patty, in your welcome remarks, you went on to declare your own unmitigated high expectations, unusually high expectations, both for the 1/4% of us who already are members of the bar and hold our nation's fundamental values in our hands, and for the students, fortunately now in your charge, who aspire to that great privilege. In every single respect, Dean Salkin, I affirm your welcoming message in full, both for the practicing bar and for the students who are so lucky to be here at Touro. The challenges are huge and they are real for the people we serve, losing jobs and homes and families, for members of the bar unable to find employment, and for the remarkably committed student body here at Touro, fighting the skepticism and negativism, determined that they will indeed fulfill their dream to make this world a better place. As Judge Graffio and Judge Wackler and I know well from our own long service on the Court of Appeals, it's just not enough for me to say, I affirm, and barely enough for me to say, I affirm for all of the reasons that have been stated by Dean Salkin, as I do. It's a good beginning, but we know from our decades on the Court of Appeals that the author of an opinion just has to give some reasons. Don't you think so? So I affirm Dean Salkin's message for at least the following 3 reasons, or in our most familiar language, for these reasons inter alia, right? First, in the decade since my own law school graduation, I have personally witnessed the role the legal profession has played in holding America to its values. Yes, we have a lot of work ahead of us to realize the dream that brought my mother and father, and doubtless many of you, to these shores. Diversity, equal opportunity, justice, far too often they still elude us. But it is lawyers and judges and our extraordinary justice system that time after time have led in the quest to keep our nation faithful to its fundamental values. Our oath is to continue that vital role. So first and foremost, I point to our nation's history to support my faith in the American bar and the American justice system, even in these troubled times. And second, despite crises and uncertainties, I see true commitment among us to collaborate, to work together across lines for change to meet modern day needs. I know that people, starting with my great successor, Judge Lippman, working together with Judge Graffio, are searching ceaselessly to implement solutions, new pathways to access to justice, utilizing every single available resource. And I have every confidence that these new collaborative initiatives will succeed and make an essential difference. And in this respect, I have no better evidence, no better hope than I have in your fabulous dean, who I know will leave no idea idle, no resource untapped in these leadership efforts, utilizing the best of the bar and every single one of you, calling on every single one of you to meet today's challenges. And my third and final reason for echoing the dean's optimism rests on a coincidence I cannot possibly neglect to mention. And that is one particular personal tie that I have to Touro, although I assure you I have many, many ties to Touro. Last spring at Avery Fisher Hall in Manhattan, I delivered the commencement address to Touro's master's degree recipients, and I had the pleasure of sharing the podium with Dr. George Cohen, among the distinguished group of Touro's founders, now 90 years old, only 90 years old, and still going really strong as a professor of philosophy. You agree he's doing a great job, right? George's father and my grandfather happened to be brothers. And they came to this country along with their families, including my own mother, at roughly the same time. Their last name, by the way, was not Cohen, it was Morris. I have a copy of the ship's manifest. But some immigration officer, I guess, felt it necessary to brand them more visibly as Jews, so he changed their name from Morris to Cohen. But that's a story for another day. My third and final reason for affirming Dean Salkin's optimism is not George. It's the message that George Cohen delivered in giving the invocation at that commencement last spring. George told the story of creation and the distress faced by Adam and Eve as the sun went down on that very first day and they were left in complete darkness. What kind of favor was this, they asked as they wept. Then, of course, as we all know, the sun came out, and they began to understand what the design was. The darkness is not just a time for despair and hair-wringing. The darkness is a time of challenge to imagination and creativity, a time for dreaming dreams and making plans for what to do as the sun comes out. Now, if there's any flaw in that story, don't blame me, blame Dr. George Cohen. But his message makes awfully good sense to me. It's known as attitude, and in everything we do, attitude, in the end, is the key, essential key to effective change. Today, more than ever, we have to summon the lessons of our great past as a profession. We have to maximize the superb leadership we are so fortunate to have, and we have to plan constructively, positively, imaginatively, passionately for the brighter days that lie ahead. And with those words, I come full circle back to the theme of the day, to congratulate Touro on its glittering new star, and to wish all of you, all of us, many, many sweet New Years together. Thank you so much.